I'm Sharon Reynolds. I'm the Parks and Recreation Director here in South San Francisco.
And I'm Shane Looper, and I'm a Cultural Arts Commissioner.
And today we're going to demonstrate how to make a wreath. And here's an example of a completed wreath that we're going to show you today. And the reason we're doing this is because we typically have a workshop, but since we're doing this remotely, this is your, going to come in, people are going to pick up kits and make them at home. So we're demonstrating for folks how to do these at home. Well, hello, I'm Sharon Reynolds. I work for the City of South San Francisco, and I have with me today Shane Looper, who's a member of the Cultural Arts Commission and also the current president of the California Garden Clubs. So we are here today since unfortunately we couldn't be with you in person to do our usual wreath workshop, which we do every year. This year we're doing it a little bit differently. We're doing it virtually, so we're going to do a video to show you how to make a wreath.
Good.
Okay.
I'm also known as the bow lady. If you've been to the wreath making, I'm one of the bow ladies, and I'm looking forward to seeing some of you when you pick up your wreath kit. Unfortunately, this year the bows will be already pre-made, but you'll have a wide selection. So let's show them the wreath making equipment.
All right, so these are the supplies that you're going to need to make your wreath. First of all, you're going to need some kind of a form to build your wreath around, and I have a couple of different things. Here's a form that looks like a stocking, a ring. You can make all different sizes. So here's a little tiny ring, one a little bit bigger, kind of a medium, and then here's another medium. This one I think is 16 inches. And then here's a large one, and this one is 18 inches. So it's up to you. You can make your wreath any size that you want. And so that's the first thing you need is a form or a ring. You'll need a pair of nippers and to cut your greens with, and a pair of wire cutters. Sometimes I get kind of mean to my tools, and I use my nippers for cutting wire, which you should not do, but it's kind of tempting. And then also you need a roll of florist wire. And paddle wire. Thank you, Shane. Mm-hmm. And so when you pick up your kit, we will supply you with the ring, the wire. And the greens, which you get to pick, you get to select, and a bow. Great, very good. So I think today I'm going to pick a smaller one. What do you think, Shane? This one? No, this one.
That one.
This one?
You do that one, yes. I'll take the bigger one.
Okay.
All right.
Very good. The other thing that you need is a selection of greens, and we have a really pretty selection today. These are all cut from South San Francisco parks, which we have to trim our trees anyway, so these are sustainably harvested from our trees, and it's up to you whether you want to go with redwood. You can use, this is redwood that I have here. You can use magnolia, eucalyptus, pine, all different kinds. So the idea is just the basic idea, if you've never, many of our wreath folks have done this before, they already know the drill, but many have not. So you're basically, the whole concept is you're just going to be overlapping little packets of greens and wiring them on and going all the way around the ring. You can accessorize, which we'll get into later. So Shane, tell them about, making little packets.
Everybody has a different technique. Nobody is wrong. Let's start with that. However, I will say, if you pick up your wreath and everything falls off, that's wrong.
True.
So you really need to be very generous with the wire. And what you do is you take your wreath form and you put the wire in here and you tie it on. Just a simple tie. You don't have to get fancy. You don't have to be clever, just so that you have the paddle. And I always put the wire between my fingers and hold the paddle. And then what I do, now this is my technique, I measure from the end of my palm to the tip of my finger the size. Because if you did this, if you took a whole branch, look what you got, a mess. And what you're trying to get is it firm enough to cover this little ring here. So I usually take about 5 of these. So, and you don't have to get crazy about, did I cut it exactly? Just so it's about. So I have about 5 of those little pieces. I put it on my ring and I wrap that wire around the ends.
Nice and tight.
Very tight. And you can do lots of, see, it's on now. It's not going to fall off. So
Just a tip for you guys too that we take for granted, but don't cut wire off of your paddle. Keep the paddle going.
Yeah.
So don't like keep snipping it. So we've been through this many years with watching folks do it. Keep the wire on here. And the other thing is some people think they can make their little packages of greens and they wrap each one. You don't need to do that.
No.
You wrap as you go.
And the idea of why you do it this way is that you overlap. So you take your next pile and overlap over the wire, and you just keep going like this. And now you have more. And you just keep going and all the way around. And when you get to the end, which we'll show you when we get to the end of this, is you kind of put it in a little bit more. If you cut the wire off, now you've got to start again with the wire. This way, you just have a rolling wire going. Let's see what else we can do. Shall we keep going?
Yeah, keep going.
Okay.
Now there's an infinite number of ways you can make your wreath. You can use all the same material. If you want it all to be redwood, you could do all redwood, or you can mix and match. I think.
I like variety.
Yeah.
So you can add, I have some little extra here that Sharon cut. This is some eucalyptus, and eucalyptus dries, everyone, and it'll stay green for a long time, but it will dry. So I'm going to put a little bit of it in this bundle that I have, because I want you to see how it changes the look of your wreath.
Yeah.
So I took my bundle of 5 with a little bit of eucalyptus on it, and I'm going to tie it on really tight. But as you can tell, see, it changes the look a little bit. You may not like that. That's fine. You get what you like. And so it just adds a little bit of interest, I think, to the wreath. Plus, it smells wonderful with a little eucalyptus. And this is very fresh plant material that we have going here. All right, I'll keep going.
Yeah. What else can I get you? Do you want some pine or some?
No.
No?
I would like you to cut this.
All right.
See, sometimes
here,
when
you
you're
go.
with people, see, I got to cut it myself.
No, I'm just.
And I will tell you, if you bring your husbands to these things next year, you make sure they do the cutting. And see, you have this left over, we just get rid of that.
I'm just kind of generally. I'll let you. Make
That's
it
fine.
Exactly the size you want.
And it does make a mess. I'm just being truthful with everybody. It does make a mess when you're doing this.
But you can sweep it right up.
Or get your husband to sweep it up. That's what I do. Now, I don't put I'm not gonna put any eucalyptus in this next bundle, because artistically, you wanna have it look a little different. Now, if you like it with the extra one put on it, that's fine. So we'll see how this works out.
I think I have a tendency, if I have 10 things, I put 10 things in there.
Yeah, well,
And I think that's not good. I think sometimes you kind of want
and
to.
see, now we put it over that.
Ooh, that's pretty.
So we'll get a little bit more eucalyptus this time, real quick. These can go fast, they can get slow. This is mine. Okay, let's see what we could do here.
So Shane is a master floral arranger, and she really has an eye for these things. Do you want to incorporate any little berries in here yet, or you want to do that
No,
later?
I'll incorporate anything extra on here later.
Okay. That's a good tip because I tend to do it while I'm going and I think it gets lost in the greens.
Yeah, it does. You can add later. And you know, the other thing about these wreaths, I'll tell you right now, is once you see how it changes it a little bit.
That's really pretty, Sharon.
I'm a good background for it.
It's really
So it smells
pretty. It does
wonderful.
smell good.
But I like the eucalyptus in it. It's simple, but I think it's pretty fabulous. Now we need some more.
I'll get you some more while you do it.
Okay, let's see what else we can put in here. And you know, don't be afraid to use these smaller pieces. After you make this wreath, one of my favorite things to do is water it down and then step on it. So it gets flat, so it's not real thick and it hangs well that way.
Which is how the professionals do it.
Yes.
Now you can go to Costco and buy a wreath for $25, but it's just not the same. They're all the same. They're kind of boring. And the fun thing about this is you can make it any way you want it.
to, yes.
And it's just pleasant. And I find my kids like doing it with me, my grown kids, and they make a wreath of their own. It's a really
Why
holiday-
don't you show some of the variety of conifers and pines, and because we have a variety, just not redwood, not just pine. We have eucalyptus. You can even use what is that? Magnolia. You can use all kinds of different things. They just have to last and not fall apart. So, as you can tell, it keeps getting larger.
Sheen, that's pretty.
Thank you. I like when she gives me compliments, everyone. We're going to try to make this funny too, everyone, because you got to have some fun with this. That's the whole idea of doing this. Can't just let, you know, it go by and you just sit and you're just doing pretty. You got to do fun. The other tip I will tell you is working with any type of conifer, you get the pitch on your hands, have butter available, and you take a scoop of butter and it takes the pitch off because it will not come off with soap and water. Sorry to tell you that, but that's just the way it is. So a little bit of butter, or even the phony butter, will work.
Yeah. So here's an example of magnolia, and sometimes they'll cut some that have the little buds on them, and that's pretty. This is something we haven't always, every year, they bring us a different selection of things. This is from a pepper tree, and they look like berries.
They're pepper.
But they're little peppercorns. Is that what they are?
Yeah, but these are still the flower itself. So this is what the flower looks like when you have pepper. And have you ever gotten your little pepper mill and it has black and it has red and it has white little, like, they're seeds basically. That's your pepper, and this is a California pepper tree that's blooming right now.
That is awesome. I did not know that. Okay.
That's what it looks like. I could be wrong.
And then this is a eucalyptus.
It's some type of eucalyptus, but I don't know what it is.
But it adds kind of some texture. So if you do all exactly the same, you can do the same greens, but we kind of like to mix it up and add some texture.
And see how it keeps going? And see, it's not going to fall off this because you put a lot of wire on it, basically.
Yeah.
And if you feel like it's going to, all you do is lift it up and put some wire afterwards on it. So, you know, don't get upset. It's easy to do this. And see, it goes fast. I'm almost halfway through, so very fast. So buy two wires and make more than one. Have one for your back door and your front door.
Yes.
Or have one on your table. They're lovely on the table with candles, and especially now that candles come with batteries instead of lighting them.
Yes.
It's really nice. They haven't perfected the smell yet on that, but you have the smell of this redwood in it. Right now it's smelling wonderful.
So something I would add, just once you learn this technique, it is so simple, but you can do anything. Like you could do a garland. This is a rope that I made with just wrapping some wire around it so it would hold its shape a little bit. And this rope just happens to be long enough to go across my fireplace you know, like that, and then down each side. And so sometimes, if in a good year, when I have time, you just take the same thing and just make your garland, real live garland on a rope, and then.
Well, show them how to do that. So you cut your bundle like
Yeah.
you just do here, and you wire it on.
Right, so exactly the same. You start your bundle.
It's just not metal. That's how you have to look at it.
And then you would put it here on to start, wrap it around, and then just keep going with bundle after bundle, overlapping, and generally there's kind of more of a front to it,
Yeah, it lays flat.
so it lays flat.
Yeah, but it is technically the same thing.
Yeah.
And it looks nice, and it's fresh, and you know, the thing about these wreaths being so fresh and freshly cut is they'll last past the Christmas time. Hopefully we'll get some rain, and they'll last even further. But you can spritz them. You can give them a little spritz with some water or something. Water.
Yeah.
I'm a vodka person, and I put vodka in my spray. So, like, he's laughing. The reason you put vodka in your water is it preserves the cells in the material.
Shane, you never told me that before.
I guess I haven't.
All these years I've
Yeah.
been doing this, I did not know that.
You can put, when you cut your greens, you can put it in a bucket of water with, you know, like, here's for the bucket of water and here's your little cocktail. So, you know, you can have a good time with these too, because there's nothing here that is going to be crazy.
I will say these things will get pretty dry on you if you put them in the sun. Like if you hang this on your front door,
It depends.
it can dry
Yeah,
out.
but if you spritz them,
Yeah.
you can keep them longer.
I like mine outdoors in a shaded area and not in direct sun, but
And the other thing I do is when you get these in a long branch, I cut the bottom of them and put them in a bucket of water with the vodka, everyone.
Yeah.
And I'll do it the next day. That's called conditioning your plant material. That way it does exactly to the plants what it does to humans. It's that the cells absorb that alcohol and kind of makes it a little firm. And so it's wonderful. So it's a good idea.
this is a,
See,
oh, that's really pretty.
I didn't know it was doing. You know what that is?
I do, but I
Juniper.
Yes. So you can use juniper. You can use this
It's a pine.
pine, any kind of pine, or even just standard green
Looks like
pine.
mugo pine, but I'm guessing. And let's see what else we have here.
You don't want your bundles. I've watched people do this every year. So
Show them the wrong way.
well, sometimes people will take like a big. They don't understand making the packet, so they'll just take a branch and just kind of put it on here and try and tie a branch around here.
And
Yeah,
what you see is all the wire.
yeah. Which is that's not
That's not what the plan is.
yeah, that's not the ideal way to do it, I would say. So you
Let's
see, as
see.
Shane's covering, you're covering.
The wire. It's
wire
making the
as you
form
go.
to make the roundness, I guess. All right, let's see.
The thing to keep in mind is like, however big the ring is, the finished wreath is going to be about this much bigger. So,
Well, why don't you put that up there, and you can see how much.
well, that's a smaller ring, but it's similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It at least enlarges from about 1 inch to about 5 inches. You can cut the leaves down to be smaller, but it takes a lot more material. So that's why I said I always do it I just want you to see a sample of my hands, and I'm only halfway through. And so, you know, from here to here is, I figure, about 5 inches or 5.5. Anything longer is a problem. Okay, let's see. And this is
You can use gloves.
Yeah, you could
I
wear
just
gloves.
find them really kind of awkward to work with, but you can always wear gloves.
Yeah, you could do you could do that, yeah. I just do not handle wire well with gloves. I guess because I like to have this on my hands to use butter. It's an excuse to make toast and have some toast and something. With my vodka, by the way. Okay, let's see what else we have here.
What else can I get for you, Shane?
If you could get me some more of the redwood would be great. Let's see, what else? I mean, it's a simple process, and anybody can make it look professional.
And
Very professional.
Very inexpensive.
And it's very inexpensive, because if you went to a florist and asked for redwood and eucalyptus wreath on a 16-inch form, it would be
$50?
or more.
Yeah.
With a bow.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
more.
And the other thing, it's you made it. That's the good thing.
The way you like
made it the way you wanted it, and for the price that we're asking, you get a great deal out of it.
I just like that these are from our local trees.
Yes, they always have been.
Yeah. The thing about some of the commercial wreaths is it's actually not very sustainable because they poach. I shouldn't generalize everyone, but there is such a big business that they'll go on national forest land
Yes.
and cut down trees just to generate enough material to make those thousands and thousands of commercial wreaths that they make. And so this way you kind of know where it came from and that it's the byproduct of tree trimming. So
And the way our people cut is they cut the ones that, they need to be pruned. They grow big. Of course, this wasn't a great year because of not a lot of water, but there's still plenty. It still grows, and they get some from the landscape that we've done with watering. And this is nice. I will say that.
now, if your material has pine cones in it,
Add 'em.
You can add them right on in there. You can just incorporate them into the bundle, or you can add pine cones later. And so people sometimes you can go very frilly, very dainty, very tailored, or you can go wilder. It's really your sense of
It's up to you.
up to you.
How you want it and how it looks. And remember, if you don't like how it looks, you know how easy this is? You just cut the back with the wire cutters and take it all off and redo it. You have to do what you want to do with these things.
Well, Shane, to that point, I actually do cut this off at the end of the season and save my ring.
I do too.
Which the rings aren't very expensive, but still, it's less wasteful to just
Yes.
chuck this thing in the landfill
Yes.
than just cut the greens off and save the ring and do it again next year.
Also, when you're doing this, it doesn't mean that you have to put eucalyptus all the way around. I kind of like that. There's eucalyptus right on this side, and so I'll do the rest in redwood, so I have a little bit of decorative here, a little asymmetrical
See,
look.
that's why you're the flower arranger, Shane. That's flower design. I tend to just over fluff it with everything I can think of.
Well, it's what you like,
Yeah.
That's the idea here. This is why you come and do these wreaths, is because they're the way you want it, not the way we want it.
The other thing I'd say is this isn't just once you know this technique, it doesn't have to just be a holiday thing. Like if
No.
you wanted to do a spring wreath,
Yep.
you could use just magnolia and you could put some artificial flowers in there.
You could also do herbs and bring it inside the house.
Yeah, those are nice.
Yeah, the herb wreaths are very nice, and they dry,
In the fall, I've got some leaves here. Let me grab these.
Yeah, show the leaves. Also show the melaleuca bark that was brought,
Yes.
or eucalyptus, whatever we brought. You can incorporate some of that also. We have quite a variety thanks to the Parks Department.
I don't know what to do with these things, Shane. But maybe.
Oh, I'll show them. Those things are flax.
Yes, I'm just not that great at incorporating everything. So yeah, they have these flax leaves, which can be used. I have melaleuca bark, which Shane is good
Yes, I love this.
at incorporating.
This is wonderful plant material. They call it paper, or no, they call it cork plants, cork tree in Australia. But you could incorporate it in here if you like it. Some people incorporate it. I like to take pieces of it and make a wreath just out of this, kind of free form, and then put a bow on it with some greenery. Sometimes it's eucalyptus, sometimes it's not. And the park department is very wonderful, because when people don't know what to do with it, Shane takes it home. So it's wonderful. It's just something else you can add to your wreath, which is a good thing.
Here's an example of that, the fall leaves. If you wanted to do a Thanksgiving wreath, you could take colorful leaves and cut them and do the same technique that we're doing, that Shane's doing.
Yeah, you could do that too. What else have we done? We've done other things. Just can't think of them right now. Can you?
Well, we typically have 200 people making wreaths during the holiday season, and you'll see 200 different versions.
Yep.
I kind of like the straight magnolia ones. These can be really showy. It's not exactly my
No, it's not my thing either.
But they're beautiful.
Yeah, they are, and show them the backside of the magnolia. See, they have a different color on the backside.
A lot of contrast.
Yeah, there's a lot of contrast. And
texture.
it takes a long time for them to fall apart, if that makes sense to anybody. Also, I've seen them put on a cardboard circle and stapled down with a bow in the middle. It's a different type of wreath. Not quite like this, but it's different. There's different things you can do. That's an idea, but I love these. Usually I get Carol Matsumoto to cut my pieces for me, councilwoman, because she usually takes the wreath home. So that's a good thing. Let's see, what else? We're getting close, everyone, I think, to the end.
And then we'll put the bow on. Maybe a few berries or something.
Yeah.
How is this size for you, Shane?
Too long.
Too long.
Need them about this size. You wanna measure?
Well, I put more than 5 in mine. That's why mine gets so bushy. I like yours. They're very.
Push it down like that.
Yeah, looks more professional. Mine
No,
are just too bushy.
She's being nice, everybody.
Well, yeah, I'm not a floral designer, just a hobbyist.
That's what I am. I'm not professional. I worked for
Well,
an
you
insurance company most of my life.
Could be though.
And it's because I took classes here for 20 years. That's how I got into this, everyone. Making bows and doing some of these fresh plant material. And now that's taken me into another world, and I like it. But you see, I'm still here. And I still get people like Sharon. They ask me to do these things over and over. See, you'll have to edit that one. Okay. Usually it doesn't take me long to talk, but I don't know why I'm not talking enough. How about you? Okay.
Oh, good.
We're good? I don't think so.
I think it's really just kind of demonstrating, right? And then you see how not easy. Shane makes it look easy, but a lot of it's practice too. Like when you make 4 or 5 of them, I forget.
Hundreds of them.
Yeah, and then when the season comes out, you kind of remember as you go.
Yeah, you do, if you've ever done it. And like I said, the fun part of all this, however we can't experience it this year, is getting together and watching people do their wreaths.
Yeah, it is really fun.
It's really a lot of fun.
Because just every single one is different.
Every single one's different.
And people are so proud, like people who think they don't have any creativity.
Yep.
They make something that looks like something and they just.
Out of nothing.
It's fun.
See, this is what I like. Sharon's doing all the work. The work on these is actually the cutting of the plant material. Let's see what else we're doing.
You want any peppers?
Nope,
No, any berries?
nope. I'm gonna make this plain first, then we'll move on to.
Now see, I would have just jammed all that stuff in there and
I
it
know.
would look like kind of a mess.
No, it doesn't.
I'll just keep cutting you a little bit,
Yep,
bundles.
that's good.
Okay.
It's still too long, but that's okay.
Well, I know you'll trim them down, but
Yeah.
You kind of want to use the tip. Like you don't, obviously, you're not going to like use the cut off branch.
Yeah, you're using the fresh at the end.
The tip of the plant. So yeah, like this is the tip. And once I've cut the tips off, then this branch is kind of waste. Can't really do much with that.
Goes in the wood pile.
Yes, we do recycle all the leftovers in the green waste pile here in South City.
We could do that at home too,
Yeah.
you know, since we're doing that at home this year.
Yeah, so this year folks are gonna be doing this at home. It's probably, if it's a decent day, just do it outside on your deck or you can do it in the kitchen.
No, I do it outside. It's because your hands look like this.
Yeah. I did a project this weekend in my kitchen and knocked a quart of house paint over in my kitchen on the floor. Oh my goodness. There was some swearing going on.
We're getting close.
Fast, Shane.
That's because someone else is doing all the work by cutting it for me. Plus, we don't want to make it too boring. Let's see.
You could also take your greens home and wash them down with a hose and kind of freshen them up that way and then let them kind of air dry. They're actually, I think they're more pleasant to work with. Like I notice as we're doing this, spiders are coming out and that kind of thing.
Yes.
You know, so if you take them and just rinse them down.
And here's another little hint. If you have a lot of pine cones you picked up from outside, get a cookie sheet, put a piece of aluminum foil across it, put your cones on that cookie sheet, turn your oven on to 125. And unfortunately it kills the guys, but they won't be in your home.
Yeah.
So we do that. And the other thing it does is it runs the sap in it. So it glycerins the pine cones. So they look like that you've sprayed something on them. And it smells good in your house, everyone. Very good. Okay, I think one more and we should be at the end.
Have you ever put them in bleach water, your pine cones?
No, I buy them that way.
Well, I've tried bleaching them and then put them in the oven and they look kind of bleached out.
Do they? Not good. No, I've
If that's the look you want, like, you know.
yeah, I have glycerin, the fresh plant material, the pines and that kind of stuff. Again, you cut them and you buy some glycerin and you heat it up a little bit in a pot and with some water, about half and half. We used to do it before we could buy a lot of glycerin. I hate to admit this, but we used to take antifreeze and do the same thing.
Oh, that's not good.
But we didn't die. So, and we were,
Get glycerin?
you can get that at a, like a Michael's and stuff. You can get that now. But before, that's what we used to use because it was inexpensive. I don't recommend that, but we did do that. All right. And then the last one here I'm going to show everybody.
That's the tricky one.
See this? You still have this gap. So what you do is you take your first batch and you lift it up a little bit to put the ends in there. And so you can run your wire through it. So then you can take it back, that first, and cover up your wire. So let me end this for you so you can see what it looks like
People
done.
always have questions about how do I end it?
Yes. Sorry, I have to use this.
Yeah, see, it's tempting.
And the one thing we forgot to tell you is you need to put a hook on this.
Yeah.
If you want. You don't have to. If you use those things that go across doors with a hook like this, you don't need to. But if you have a little tiny thing, you might have to put a hook on to begin with. We'll show you what that looks like. But I want to show you this. And this probably needs to be trimmed a little bit. But see, very easy to do. Very, oh, it smells wonderful.
Smell good.
Doesn't it smell wonderful? So you can do that. And this, I would put this way because I put the eucalyptus on one side, or you could put it up here, or you can put it on the other side, or you can put it down below if that's what you want.
Depends on where you put your bow.
Yep, it does, and it depends on what kind of bow you put on it. Now, let's talk about bows.
All right. Or do you want to put any berries or anything in there? You just gonna
Not
go
yet.
with the bow? Okay. All
Why
right.
don't you give me this red one? We've made different bows, and this is just a simple red one. And because our bows are pre-made, you may have to fluff them up a little bit because they're going to be in a box. And it's just a simple, very simple bow that's red. And I probably would put it, I don't know. See, this is the part that we all do. I think I would probably put it on this side. What you'll get with the bow is some wire so you can attach it. And so don't worry that it looks sloppy once you put it on, because again, it's wired ribbon.
Yeah.
And you can move it around to the way you want it. So let me see what we're gonna do here. And you'll have to cut the wire from the bow because it's very long and you don't want to scratch your door or whatever you're doing. So let me just fluff this a little bit. And what, huh?
We're doing good.
We're doing good?
Yeah.
All right. So it just will take a minute or so.
Oh, looky there. See, now I never think to do that. To put the ends, the tails of the ribbon.
Tuck them in.
Tuck them in. That's
So
pretty.
you can tuck them in, you can hang it out, and so you could do something like this with it.
Oh, that's pretty.
And that's one type of bow. So let me take it off and show them a bigger bow, a fancier bow than this one.
Black and white?
Yeah, let's do something. We make them all sizes, everyone, so I'm sure there's something for you. We have all different types of ribbon, and now I can't take the bow off. Technical glitch.
Well, that goes to show you it wouldn't fall off.
So I'm gonna cut it off. Add more wire later. All right.
There's also a plain black and white.
There's also, see that black, the style right now, as I told you, is a lot of this farm look. So they're doing a lot of this check. And I think this one's kind of nice too. And it's a bow with a bow inside a bow. So they do that. You could do something like this with this one.
That's pretty.
All right, or these are just different ones I made up real quick. And, or you can have the black and white.
That's pretty too. Again, it depends on your decor.
Yeah, it
and
depends on what
like.
you like. And this is just a plain, this is very easy bow. Let's leave this one out. And there's one more. How about the candy cane here? Yeah. And it's attaching itself. All right, this one is just huge. If you like lots, then get lots, because we have these. And you can put this on this. To me, it kind of dwarfs, it's kind of huge for this.
Yeah, it might be okay on
But
a bigger
it might
one.
be okay for you.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. But I probably would put on this one, this bow. And I would add other things to it. So what do we have to embellish? Okay, let's see. See, you could do something like this.
Oh, that's really pretty, Shane.
And you can mess around with the bow and recut the limbs, or you can do whatever you like to change it. But you also can enhance your wreath by adding your own ornaments or something to it.
Accessories.
She calls them accessories, I call them ornaments.
Ornaments.
You might be the type of person that just likes very simple. And what you can do is take these berries and stick them in here. I would tell you to wire them in, but you don't really have to. If you get them in there, they're not gonna fall out.
I actually think this is better than trying to, I typically include that stuff in my bundles, but I think it's better what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because then you can plan better where to put them.
Yeah.
Now, here's just an example, like I have some little ornaments, you could hang little ornaments on there. Here's a little bitty birdhouse made out of cork. You could put a birdhouse. People last year went crazy for little birds.
Yeah, but see, you can just place that and enhance it, and that's, you know, you could go to the dollar store and get
Yes.
20 of these
Or Michael's.
or Michael's, wherever.
You know, the good thing to do is after Christmas to catch the 50%
Off, yes.
60, and then stock up for the next year. I do that for the group.
Let's
I
see what
buy
else.
a bunch of stuff.
She also has these cute little ornaments too. Why don't you just give me one?
These are, I don't think they're try to get something I do that's not breakable.
Breakable,
Because then the
yeah.
wind starts to blow those.
But you could add it to your ribbon itself before you put the ribbon on. You could hang bells from it. You could
Here's
do
some pine cones with a little berry. Pine cones these are got a little bit of gold spray paint, but again, it depends. These are pretty.
It's whatever you want. And if you have your own pine cones, the way you attach them to this would be after you've gotten rid of the critters, you take the bottom of the pine cone where it falls off the tree itself, and you take the wire and wire it like this, twist it, and then you can twist it and put it right on your wreath. And you can put lots of them all over the place, whatever you want, you know. But these are just small things, you know,
Right.
you could do.
Here's a brighter berry. Now, you can use real berries, but
Yep.
I find that
They fall off.
pretty quickly, and then especially if you put it on your front door, every time you close the front door, berries fall on your doorstep, and then the kids smash them coming in and out of the house. So I like doing an artificial berry just for a little bit of color.
Well, and you can add
Oh,
the
that's
berry
pretty.
up to your, oh, here's a critter. What's this critter?
See, there were spiders in there. So that's why I like to rinse my greens down before.
And see, you can do something like that. If you don't like a lot,
Oh, sorry.
that's all right.
That's-
But that's basically how you do a wreath. And, you know, and anything goes. It just got to make sure everything is attached to the wire form with the wire so it doesn't fall off. But, you know, then you can brag, oh, I made that wreath myself. So that's what this wreath class is all about. And we hope you like it.
It's a wrap.
Is it a wrap?
Right.